Good morning, everyone, and welcome to your neighborhood Unitarian Universalist congregation. Happy New Year. My name is Susanne Maziarz. I'm the music director here, and I bring you information about the life of our community. Save the date, February 2nd. After service, we will be celebrating Neighborhood's 25th anniversary. Join us for food, music, memories, and a good time. Speaking of, do you have favorite pictures or stories from the past 25 years? We'd like to share them. Send your memories to 25, that's numbers 25, at nuuc.ca. Up in our galleries, we have 2 shows for 2 more weeks. Printed Pluralism group show in the West Gallery and Drew Nelson's solo show in our East Gallery. Neighborhood now has a mask required section beside our West Library. Masks are available there. This will be a permanent feature of our services. Stitch to Enrich starts this week and will be continuing on the 2nd and 4th Wednesdays of the month from 12 to 3:30 in our Cappuccino room. You can bring whatever medium you wish to play with that day, any kind of art form. For more info or questions, please contact Gail. Gail's email will be in our Monday mailing. If you would like to be included in our Monday mailing, please write to office@nuuc.ca. This Saturday, we're having karaoke night here in Rafos Hall. And I see I forgot to include Allison. It's going to be hosted by MC Jojo and Allison, starting at 7:30 on Saturday. We're having a special screening here at Neighborhood on January 25th. That's a Saturday evening. Letter to My Tribe, a video essay by B.H. Yale. Why don't more Jews and Israelis speak out about Palestine? This film features interviews with journalists, activists, and a rabbi, interwoven with documentation of actions in the West Bank, family histories, and journeys to Iraq and to Poland. The filmmaker will be in attendance for Q&A. It's a pay-what-you-can event. Do you have questions on Judaism? On January 26th, guest Diana Ralph will try to answer your questions. Use the Jew Q box in the Cappuccino room to ask the questions you've always wondered about, but never had anyone to ask. This is part 2 of our World Religion series. Thank you, Peter. And next Sunday, we continue exploring our theme of justice with love at the center, with the message Everyday Justice, given by Reverend Lynn Harrison. Music will be provided by Lynn and myself. Our weaver will be Kurt Thompson, and Time for All Ages with Julia Thompson.
We welcome you to our neighborhood Unitarian Universalist congregation service, and welcome to the year 2025 in the Gregorian calendar. Thank you for joining us, whether you're here in person or on Zoom. I start by acknowledging that the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nations are the treaty holders of this land, and that the Wendat, the Anishinaabe Nation, and the Haudenosaunee Confederacy lived here before me and are living here now, along with other First Nations, Métis, and Inuit. I offer my gratitude to our First Nations for their care for and teachings about our earth and our relations, and I will work to honor those teachings. This area has been a place of communities coming together for over 15,000 years. My name is Gordon Thorne, and I'll be your service weaver this morning. We start today's service by creating sacred space. To help us all stay undistracted in sacred space, please silence your phones and other electronic devices now, unless you need them to be part of the service. I invite you to join me in reading our invocation, which will be on the screens. Let us cast the circle of a sacred space here. Let us cast the circle of a cherished space here. A space of safety, a place of forgiveness, a place of love. If we want the world to change, we must craft in our space and in ourselves the seeds that grow a different kind of life, a life of graciousness, of creative intelligence, a place of life and spirit for ourselves and our families. This morning, I'd like to invite Beata to come up and light the chalice. Instead of lighting it anew, we're taking the light from the children's flame and then passing it to our own chalice. In this way, we may be inspired to keep the children's fire alive in our hearts. Children's flame needs a little help this morning. Susanne, would you like to sing our prelude?
Yes. I invite up my friend Kurt Thompson to sing Answering the Call of Love. And just for everyone, all of our songs in the service today are congregational. You're welcome to join in singing all of our pieces. It's okay. There you go. There you go.
So originally, Answering the Call of Love was called Standing
On the Side.
Standing on the Side of Love, written by Jason Shelton. But there were people with disabilities who had difficulty in standing or were unable to stand and said, you know, I can't stand on the side of love. So Jason thankfully and compassionately changed the lyrics to Answering the Call of Love. So please, and like Susanne said, all of these songs today are congregational songs, so please look at the screens and sing along. Hearts beat as one, emboldened by faith, we dare to proclaim we are answering the call of love. Sometimes we build a barrier, keeping love tightly bound, unwilling to fear, unwilling to hear, denying the we found. We are answering the call of love. Hands joined together as hearts beat as one, emboldened by faith, we dare to proclaim we are answering the call of love. The bright new day is dawning. Love will not divide. Perfections of grace in every embrace, fulfilling the vision divine. We are answering the call of love. Hands joined together as hearts beat as one, Emboldened by faith, we dare to proclaim we are answering the call of love. We are answering the call of love.
And now we continue in sacred space. I'd like to thank Helen Armstrong, who will be our guest speaker today. We thank all those staff and volunteers who have created this service, and their names are up on the poster board in the Cappuccino Room. We have an optional quiet room in the northeast corner of the sanctuary from which you can hear but not be heard. And the room has a couch for some and toys for others. Assisted listening devices like this are available from Carlos at the sound desk, and you'll find, if you find the sound challenging in this room, it does have a bit of echo to it. Sometimes it's difficult. Now, we're open to many beliefs and learn from many traditions, and we welcome all people to our spiritual community. If you're visiting us in person for the first time, we welcome you, and I encourage you to stay after service for coffee time. Take a red mug, and we'll know you're interested in talking to us about neighborhood or just engaging in conversation. Our services can vary from week to week, so we encourage you to sample several to get a better feeling for who we are. And we leave the minister's office open after the service for those who want a quieter space to talk. Our mission at Neighborhood is to empower spiritual growth and shared action for the care of the world. This month, we move out of the theme of generosity and into the theme of justice. If you take a look at our theme slide, you can see the scales of justice with love at the center. Justice should always be weighed with love at the center. In that way, the congregation has been active in their efforts to make all people feel included and at home here. As was mentioned, we have a mask required section over to my left. And once the glass doors are repaired, we'll be creating a chair section for those that have sound and light sensitivities. We have a quiet room at the back, which I mentioned, where you can still hear the service. And we open the, like I said before, the minister's office during coffee time that creates that quiet space. When we installed the sound system in the sanctuary, we made sure to include an assisted listening device for people like myself with hearing issues. There are ramps at the Jackman door and signed accessibility sections in the sanctuary, a short distance from the south doors to aid those with mobility challenges. We have new floor chairs for those that are uncomfortable in these seats. We offer a hybrid Zoom service, a Zoom-friendly service for those that can't make it in person. And we offer to bring the microphone to those that have trouble making it to the chalice. And that's just a few of the initiatives we have made to make everyone feel included. I have a disability too, though it's an invisible one. My hearing is compromised and fluctuates between okay and pretty crappy, with my left ear being profoundly compromised. And I have to admit, in the struggle to make sense of what people are saying in the cacophony of the Cappuccino Room after service, it can feel isolated and I can feel apart from other people. It's a struggle, and sometimes I just want to disappear. Now, this kind of isolation has been proven to lead to mental health issues and sometimes dementia. Now, consider adding mobility issues, sight impairment, medical issues that isolate, or a host of other disabilities, and you can start to see the challenges. Next time you see a person in a walker approach a set of stairs without a ramp, or a person with a white cane presented with crossing a street 8 lanes wide, think about whether it's an issue of accommodation or justice. This week, Helen Armstrong will speak to us on the subject of disability justice and collective care. In the words of William Sinkford, "We are a gentle and generous people, but let us not forget our anger. May it fuel not only our commitment to compassion, but also our commitment to make fundamental changes. Our vision of the beloved community must stand against a vision that would allow the privilege of the few to be accepted as just and holy. Our religious vision must again and again ask, who is my neighbor? And strive to always include more and more of us." So now is the time to greet your neighbors, all your neighbors. After you've greeted a few neighbors, turn to the camera at the back wall and offer a greeting to those joining us virtually. Susanne will chime at the end. So take a moment and greet the neighbors around you.
I'm going to teach you a song, and I invite you to join me in singing and also in the actions, or one or the other, or neither, as you prefer. This song talks about how we need everyone, all of your voices, all of your visions to make sweet harmony as a community together. So our actions, before I teach you the tune, will be like this. Building bridges, we'll take one hand to bake half the bridge. Between our divisions, we'll take the other hand, interlace the fingers to make that connection. Building bridges between our divisions. I reach out to you, one hand out. Will you reach out to me, other hand out? With all of our voices, we'll gesture from the mouth with both our hands, our voices, and all of our visions. We'll take all those ideas and imagination from our minds and send it out. Friends, we'll take one hand, wrap it around ourselves. We could make such sweet harmony together. So, building bridges between our divisions. I reach out to you. Will you reach out to me? With all of our voices and all of our visions, friends, we could make such sweet harmony. I'm going to teach it to you, how it goes. You're welcome to rise if you prefer to sing standing. First line goes, building bridges between our divisions. Let's do that. Building bridges between our divisions. And then I reach out to you, will you reach out to me? I reach out to you, will you reach out to me? With all of our voices and all of our visions, with all of our voices and all of our visions, friends, we could make such sweet harmony. Friends, we could make such sweet harmony. Let's try the whole thing. Building bridges between our divisions. I reach out to you. Will you reach out to me? With all of our voices and all of our visions, friends, we could make such sweet harmony. Building bridges between our divisions. I reach out to you. Will you reach out to me? With all of our voices and all of our visions, friends, we could make such sweet harmony. And now let's make some sweet harmony by singing this as a round. So I'm going to work with, let's have like, Peter, you can be this group. This will be my group over here. And Denise will be like, to Gwen there, Steve, yeah. And then Allison can be with this team here. All right, one more time all together, and then we'll try in 3 parts. 2, 3, Building bridges between our divisions. I reach out to you, will you reach out to me? With all of our voices and all of our visions, friends, we could make such sweet harmony. Building bridges between our divisions. I reach out to you, will you reach out to visions? I reach out our voices and all of our visions. I reach out our voices and all of our visions. With all our graces and all of our visions. I reach out to grace and you reach out to visions. I reach out our voices and all of our visions. I reach out our voices and all of our visions. With all our graces and all of our visions. I reach out to grace and you reach out to visions. I reach out our voices and all of our visions. I reach out our voices and all of our visions. With all our graces and all of our visions. Friends, we could make such sweet harmony.
Hello. I'm Julia, and this is the time for all ages. Yeah. Why don't you try out our new chairs? They're really fun. You can kind of lean back and, yeah. So I'm going to share a story with you called, and it's going to appear in just a minute, This Is How We Play, a celebration of disability and adaptation, written by Jessica Slice and Caroline Cupp and illustrated by Kayla Heron. And the next slide, these are the authors, Caroline and Jessica, and they're friends. And when they became parents, they wondered, where are all the books about disabled mamas? And they looked for them, but there were very, very few. So they decided to write one together. And here it is. And they interviewed many disabled families, and they asked each family the same question: how do you play? And each of these pages tells a different story about how each family plays. And it's all, even though they play in different ways, it's love for each other and adaptation, which means, making the best of what you have. And in that way, everybody can be included. And as you can see, some people have visible disabilities, which is the case with Caroline and Jessica. They're in wheelchairs, and they also get around in scooters. And some people have invisible disabilities where they're not noticeable. And Jessica and Caroline, they don't mind it. They love it when kids come up and ask them how their mechanical wheelchairs work or how their scooters work. But they don't like it so much when people say, what happened to you? Or, what's wrong with you? They get around in a wheelchair just like some folks get around using their legs. everybody's different, and that's what makes the world interesting. All right, I will begin. This is how we play. We sing, learn, sign, we stim, dance, crawl, growing up, siblings, cousins, all having a ball, sitting, rolling, running, wheels, walkers, and feet, silly all together. These moments are so sweet. With love and adaptation, this is how we play. My mama likes to explore with me. I help drive her chair down by the sea. I spy something white and shiny and small, a shell for our house to hang on the wall. Blush for your cheeks, shadow for your eyes, red on your lips, a sparkle surprise. You'll help me and I'll help you. I look so pretty and you do too. We gather sticks and leaves together to keep fairies dry in rainy weather. An acorn hat is a cup for tea. Daddy's cane, the perfect tree. First it's your move, and then it's mine. Bishop in a diagonal line. Way to go, that's very clever. You got my queen faster than ever. Look up at those planets shining bright. Stars and comets light the night. Our telescope shows something new. I love exploring space with you. With love and adaptation, this is how we play. Some days our bodies are not much fun. They hurt and ache, can't jump or run. Days like these, we love to cuddle, read our stories, nap, and snuggle. Zoom, zoom, we're racing round the track. I take the curve while looking back. We're both so fast, the win is mine. Sister cheers as we cross the line. The crowd cheers, I leap so high, my jump shot launches toward the sky. Grandpa smiles, good job, champ. The whole team does a victory dance. Blowing kisses from the screen, we paint mom pictures blue and green. Oh, sweet artists, my love bugs. When she's away, we miss her hugs. We love to go to Auntie's house. A nurse is there to help her out. We act in stories and put on shows. We know she loves to watch us grow. At the end of every single day, Mama strums and sings and plays. My brothers and I pick out a song. Even my puppy sings along. Telling stories with our hands, heroes clever, brave, and grand. Kids, signs Daddy, it's time for bed. More play tomorrow, you sleepy heads. And finally, we tuck our tired bodies in and pull the covers to our chins. With love and adaptation, this is how we... And on this following slide, this is Jennifer Keelan, and from a very young age, she started speaking up for kids with disabilities because she found, this was quite a while ago, before there were any kind of accommodations made for people who had, who used wheelchairs or walkers. she found that she felt left out a lot, from when her friends were, going off somewhere because she couldn't climb the stairs. So, and then she thought, what do people expect us to do? Like, do they want us to just crawl up the stairs? So that is exactly what she's doing. And she is crawling up the steps of the U.S. Capitol to demonstrate how difficult it is for people with physical disabilities to, to go to buildings like a school even, or a museum, or a library. And things have changed a lot since then, thanks to people like Jennifer Keelan. And if you want further reading, this is called All the Way to the Top, How One Girl's Fight for Americans with Disabilities Changed Everything. And here she is, and there's a book about her. So I have both books if you want to come at some point and check them out. Thank you. Why don't we have some conversations and fun in the Rainbow Room, okay?
So now it gives me pleasure to welcome longtime congregant Helen Armstrong, who worked at the CUC and has been involved in disability justice for a number of years. Helen is currently completing her master's in critical disability studies at York University. Welcome, Helen.
Good morning, friends. Some of you I have yet to get to know, but I am eager to meet everybody. So first of all, I am speaking about disability, love, and collective care, and I'm grounding my talk in the important work of our 8 principles. And we know that the 8th principle talks about our journey to wholeness by dismantling racism and other oppressions. I'm speaking on the land of many Indigenous peoples, and these are land and water stewards. I'm going to reference Indigenous principles of disability in my talk. These models, in my view, are more interdependent and relational than those in Western individualist culture. My main wish in this talk is to inspire us with a model of collective care for our congregation. Today, I call on us to look to the new UUA model. Some of you don't know UUA, Unitarian Universalist Association in the US, and this model goes beyond our 8 principles and puts love at the center. We might have a slide from Susanne, I'm not sure. The 7 principles were enacted in 1984, and they were always meant to be reviewed. So here we have the diagram with love at the center, and we have a number of really important themes there, some which I will reference. Love is the power that holds us together, and it's at the center of our shared values. Love keeps us in relationship. It is a spiritual discipline. I will speak about 4 key values in the diagram: justice, transformation, generosity, and interdependence. So I'm living with a complex disability. 1 year ago, I developed long COVID, and I continue to face significant impairments and barriers. I spend much of my time at home, and my partner, Tony, has become a big caregiver to me. Tony does this work as an act of love, and he's also showing interdependence with me at a time when I feel highly dependent. I'm going to share with you a poem that speaks to where I'm at right now. It's in the book, Falling in Love with Yourself. I dream of never being called resilient again. I'm exhausted by strength. I want ease. I want support. I want softness. I don't want to be patted on the back for how well I take a hit. So what would it look like for our congregation to welcome softness and provide support to each other more, to manifest more care, to become more interdependent? How can we transform adapting to disability and complexity in our changing world? We must be open to change, welcoming our changing bodies and minds. A desire to be generous and compassionate can carry us forward. This centering of care is a big piece of disability justice. My disability is not something to be wished away or dismissed as temporary, nor is it something I need anyone to give me advice about, although I acknowledge I love to give advice to everybody too. Instead, we can listen to each other intently. With acts of generosity and love, we can all grow more whole together as a community. Perhaps through this engagement, you too can learn to face the fear of your own impermanence. The value of equity in the diagram is important. As Unitarian Universalists, we know every person is inherently worthy. We all have the right to flourish with dignity. We can build and sustain fully accessible and inclusive communities for all. For me, this can mean that when you're around me, please mask, wear a good mask. I'm highly immune compromised and I can't afford to catch another virus. So I was super pleased when Neighborhood put in place a mask-only section. This is a really important step and speaks to your desire to have more inclusion. I'll touch on disclosure as part of disability liberation. I've chosen to not appear in my scooter at most of our services. I feel a lot of discomfort about appearing disabled, despite doing my master's in disability studies. When I became visibly disabled, it really shifted things. Sometimes comments are hard to hear, and being visibly disabled has its challenges. But this is crucial, as it can lead to acceptance of ourselves and each other. 2 years ago, I did a talk on disability. I talked about coming back to the congregation despite feeling frustrated around having disabilities and feeling unseen. I have a constant yearning still for more acceptance and understanding, a yearning for connection and wholeness. The community is increasingly grappling with people who are ill, people who die, people who need support. And can we hear those experiences from people? Can we be on that journey together? 2 years ago, my talk sowed the seeds of collective care. And I hope this ethics of care will define Neighborhood, and I do see that already happening. I yearn to move beyond the normal, abnormal binaries and all the stigma that they carry. We each carry this stigma of the normate, white male located at the top of the pyramid. I would argue this image is quite defined in our Protestant history. Unitarians often value stoicism, independence, intellectualism, and hard work. The binary of the normate shuns the sick or disabled person, the person of color, the queer person, the poor person, and others living with a variety of oppressions. I want to argue, though, that Neighborhood feels different to me, so I do welcome the diversity that I see here. So at our congregation, what are we doing to disrupt these systems of oppression? How do we unconsciously replicate them? We know that difference can be culturally reproduced within our institutions, and that includes our faith communities. I just want to note that a focus on excessive volunteering can make those of us who struggle with energy and illness sometimes feel less than. How do we disrupt this situation and value people just for being? We can appreciate people for the gifts they bring, especially the wisdom and resourcefulness gained through personal struggle. I'm going to pause and we will do our meditation.
It's time for meditation or prayer. And I invite you to settle into a comfortable position. Now that you're in that comfortable and safe space, you may choose to close your eyes and start noticing your breaths. Fill your lungs with fresh new air as you breathe in, and empty them out again as you breathe out. You don't need to change your breathing, simply notice it now. In and out. Now, gently shift your awareness to your feet. Notice any sensations you feel. Is the surface they are resting on hard or soft? Do they feel warm or cool? How does your socks and shoes feel? Shift the awareness from your feet up to your calf muscles and lower legs. How do these muscles feel? Is there any tension? Just simply notice as you continue to breathe out and in. Slowly move your awareness further up your leg, past your knees, to your thighs and hips. This part of your body does a lot of work, supporting you throughout the day. So notice any stiffness or soreness that might rest there. Now, slowly shift this awareness up your lower back, following your spine, until you arrive at your shoulders and neck. These are areas where many of us tend to hold stress. Feel your chest and abdomen expand as you breathe in and contract as you push the air out. Repeat this cycle in and out, replenishing your body's supply of oxygen. There's nothing else to do right now besides sitting in this moment, paying attention to how your body is feeling, breathing in and out. Next, we'll shift attention up your neck, through your jaw, another place many of us hold tension. Up to the crown of your head. Relax the muscles in your face. How does your breath feel as it comes in through your nose? Is it warm or cool? Can you feel your nostrils open to allow more air in? How does your breath feel as it goes back out again? As we come to the end of our practice today, try bringing this attention to your whole body. It's a complex thing, needing nurture and care. And when you're ready, simply open your eyes and return your attention to your surroundings.
Thank you, Gordon. I actually asked him to put the meditation in the middle so I could get a break. So I want to look now to Indigenous traditional knowledge to challenge top-down views. It's interesting that most Indigenous systems do not share a disability normal binary view. They seek wholeness through mutual benefit, drawing on each other's strength. And I'm going to quote Indigenous scholar Laverne Langland. Most Indigenous languages have no word for disabled or impaired. There is no ideal person or way of existing. No human body or mind is necessarily preferred. Differences in body and mind allow for differing relationships at all levels and for differing knowledge. Indigenous people often talk of each person needing to teach and to learn. It's understood that every being has limitations of some type. I want to draw attention to Mexican artist Frida Kahlo, who I'm sure pretty much everyone has heard of. So there's a picture of Frida at the opening of her first public art show. And she was disabled all her life. She spent a lot of periods in forced confinement, a lot of it making art. And at the end of her life in 1953, she was very ill. So she insisted that she appear at her art opening. And here she is on a hospital stretcher at her first solo art show opening, looking exalted and celebrated. And I see in her face manifest pain and vulnerability, but I also see an incredible amount of care shining through. And these are things that I can just imagine. So let's envision and offer spaces where disabled people can find support, understanding, and empowerment based on relationships of care, grounded in acts of generosity through friendship, kinship, and love. This care work helps build collective power for all of us, and it offers pockets of liberation within our hyper-capitalist society. And we all know that disabled people don't fit too well into that capitalist, frenetic, productive-paced world. So collective acts provide a compelling alternative to the urge to objectify and stigmatize disabled people. Now I'm going to get emotional. I want to acknowledge that when I was feeling very low with poor health in September, my longtime friend Lauren Rossetti reached out and visited me and showed so much care and love. I was feeling super isolated. She got really interested in my fiber art. And you all know that Lauren can be incredibly excited about stuff. So here it is on display at Neighborhood and right here. So through Lauren's efforts, I felt like a contributing and valued congregant when I'd been struggling, feeling sick on my own. So I see Lauren's efforts as part of disability justice, centering my leadership. We center those who are most impacted with a commitment to leave no one behind. And I feel like this is definitely part of Care Collective work. So something I didn't know until I started researching more was that care collectives were really popular in the Victorian era of the 1850s. People weren't too keen on medicine back then, and they didn't have a lot of optimism that it would cure people. There was a lot of widespread suffering, and it was acknowledged. The practice of creating care communities was widespread. People's responsibility to others was to alleviate and distract somebody who was sick. Ordinary bodies included people with chronic illness, intermittent disability, injury, aging, and diseases that we all experience. So these collectives were very common, and people were expected to provide care in social collectives. But my experience of care collectives is that they don't really exist. I grew up in a family that had a lot of workaholism. I went to a gifted school early on that mandated a lot of productivity. And I took I did a lot of work in activism, which meant you had to produce a lot. But fortunately, I see a small growing awareness that we have to have sustainability in our cultures, and that's why I keep coming back to neighborhood. I know people here have felt that they've worked too hard and have needed to embrace care, and I want us to keep up building on that model. I want to close with some quotes from a disability scholar, Laurie Erickson. Laurie has complex disabilities requiring round-the-clock care, and she's managed to develop her own care collective, all based on volunteers, which I find quite amazing. And she explains, interdependence as an example, a way of being and caring with and for each other that operates from the belief that we all have needs. We all need each other. We all can provide care. We center and celebrate difference and needs in a way that interrupts individualism, isolation, and normalization. So in conclusion, disabled people struggle to find spaces to flourish in the 21st century. We can build an alternative at neighborhood. Care collective models that I've outlined can offer hope and guideposts for this liberation. This engagement in our UU spaces locates love right at the center. We adapt to the changes in our body, minds, and in the world. We covenant to collectively transform and grow spiritually and ethically. Openness to change is key to our Unitarian Universalist heritage. We grow and we change. As UUs, we will always evolve, moving forward together in faith and love. Thank you.
Thank you, Helen. I invite the congregation to join me in singing a song that celebrates the care of friends. What wondrous love is this? What wondrous love is this, oh my soul, oh my soul. What wondrous love is this, oh my soul. What wondrous love is this that brings my heart such bliss and takes away the pain of my soul, of my
Now is the time for our offertory. Sharing of ourselves is part of every faith. Whether you're online or here in the sanctuary, you can use the link displayed on the screens, which leads you to our donation page on our website. I've done it, it works. You can also put money in the basket. If you want a tax receipt, you can use one of the envelopes in the chair in front of you and then put the envelope in the basket. In all ways, we ask you to be generous. Greeters will bring the baskets to me when the money is collected.
For today's offering, we have a hymn. It's number 317, "We Are Not Our Own," from our Singing the Living Tradition hymnal. This hymn spoke directly to me and effectively challenged the myth of individualism, by which I had believed that I had to be independent and fully self-reliant. And in doing so, it gave me great comfort and understanding to know that I belonged and was part of the great whole. With the lyrics, "Human leaves on nature's growing vine. Give to earth and all things living liturgies of care. There is a great circle of life in which we arrive completely helpless and dependent as infants and children grow through youth to adulthood, and all of us pass through the wheel to whichever point in our lives when we naturally rely on others again. The words living stone upholding living stone beautifully illustrates to me how each generation gives to the next, and hopefully many generations of future congregants whom we will never meet, but to whom we will have left a legacy of welcome. We are not our own, earth forms us, human leaves on nature's growing vine, fruit of many generations, seeds of life divine. We are not alone, earth names us, past and present, peoples near and far, family and friends and strangers, show us who we are. Therefore let us make thanksgiving, and with justice willing and aware, give to earth and all things living liturgies of care. Let us be a house of welcome, living stone upholding living stone, gladly showing all our neighbors we are not our own.
If you have found love here, if you have found acceptance here, if you have found home here, if you have known kindred spirits here, let this offering be a token of gratitude for our common life as we build the common good.
I invite Moira and Allison to come up and help me lead this closing song. We Would Be One, also from Singing the Living Tradition to the tune of Finlandia. I just like to lift up one phrase from the first verse, which is, we would be one in living for each other to show to all a new community. Could we be that new community living for each other? Please rise and sing with us.
Beata, would you like to come up and extinguish our chalice for us? We have a tradition of forming a circle and either holding hands or touching shoulders or elbows or just reaching out to those that cannot and including all people. Today I'll leave you with this blessing from Emil Gudmundsson. And now may we have faith in life to do wise planting, that the generation to come may reap even more abundantly than we. May we be bold in bringing to fruition the golden dreams of human kinship and justice. This we ask, that the fields of promise become fields of reality. This service is ended. Go in peace and love.